Okay, so let's get started on the 3-stage process that I used in order to use social media in a more intentional way and then, in a more successful way. So in the beginning, I really had to adjust how I thought about social media, how I was using it. And this is what I call the thinking stage. So, I have a drama background, so I'm calling them stages. And you'll see they look like steps, but it's a 3-stage plan. And this is where I really started adjusting my mindset on how I saw social media and how I used it. So I realized that I was no longer using it as a consumer, and I had to be more intentional about what it is I was posting, when I was posting, what I was posting about. And once I actually got that mindset shift, I could then begin using my brand and the values of my brand and the intention of what I was doing and who I was doing it for. So really clarifying who that ideal client was and who would benefit from what it is that I was offering as a service. And once I went through this stage, I could then go into my second stage of the planning process. And this is where, the fun began. This is where I started making content. As I was telling you before, I spoke about emotional intelligence and thinking patterns and neuroscience. So all my content was now aligned with who I was as a coach, who I was as this brand, and who I was directing that message to. So that was my intention. Who was I making the content for? What was my intention with the content? And what was the outcome that I wanted from it? And not only was it about what I wanted from it, I then could align it with what my ideal client was going to get out of it. And once I got that planning stage finalized, I got all my content ready, I had a strategy, I then went into the doing stage. And this is where I was implementing the strategy. It's where I would execute, the 2 or 3 week strategy that I had. And then I could actually look at the data. I would analyze what was working, what wasn't working, what could I adjust? Was the messaging correct for my ideal client? What did I need to shift in a way that would be better, that would resonate with them? And once I actually went through that data and analyzed it, I could then audit what I was doing while remaining aligned with my brand and my client, and then going into the planning. So as you can see, it's almost like a cycle, because I would, think, plan, do, think, plan, do. But I look at it as stages because it's building one on top of the other. So I'm consistently building on what I did previously. So now that you can see the 3-stage process that I went through in order to use social media intentionally, for today's webinar, I'm really going to focus in on the mindset, the content, and the analysis, because those are the 3 things that are generally where the missing pieces of the puzzle are. Fortunately, I can't go into the other things because that's very specialized, and that's what I do in some of my courses. So if you haven't managed to build your brand and your ideal client persona or avatar, I would highly suggest doing that first.